for today. We're going to do college algebra. We're going to write the strands that we're looking at today. So I'm actually going to write all the strands and then we're going to hit them hard on the ones that we need to. So what are the strands? So actually, first of all, what are the tools that we have? Let's do that first. So the tools we have the REA book. We have a YouTube playlist, which basically takes you through every single topic in detail, and that's done by my colleague Nathan, Mr. Nathan Jerset. So he's our math teacher out of Georgia. He lives in Georgia, but he used to live in the Midwest. We worked together to write a book and math programs together, and he got his master's in math. He teaches at a community college, but he also helps us out from there. So we're creating a playlist. It's there. We're going to put it on our website. So basically, if you need a topic, like a zoom in effect on a specific topic, the playlist will have it for you. So we have this book. We have this. We have an OpenStax textbook. We're using the second edition of the book for college algebra. So basically we have these tools. You have tutors, of course, and you have friends. Okay, between all these, I believe everybody should be able to ace the college algebra. So those are the tools. Now what are the topics? Number one, sets. That's the first one that we'll look at briefly. We'll talk about the intersection of sets and the union of sets. Number two, well actually rules of exponents, that's so critical. So we're going to review the rules of exponents. Number three, we're going to talk about factoring polynomials. Factoring polynomials. When a is equal to 1 and when a is not equal to 1, we need to know how to do both. We're going to talk about logarithms. Logarithms. Number 5. We're going to talk about quadratics. The quadratic equation will just be a quick review. Quadratic formula and quadratic equation. Systems of equations, number 6. Systems of equations. And let's see, number 7. We will look at just functions. So when we talk about functions, we have the following. We have composition of functions. We have operations of functions. We have inverse functions. And those are the main things. And then, of course, we need to know the domain and range. Okay. And then, of course, we need to know how to graph. Graphing. Okay. Let me make sure I have all my topics, and then we'll talk about sequences and series, and factorials, and 11 and 12. We have complex numbers, and last but not the least, we should definitely deal with absolute value equations and inequalities. If we do those, the CLEP college algebra is going to be gold. That's what we need to do, 12 things. So we're going to click and zoom in on a few of these, and that's our plan for today. So let me close the door and we'll get started. Okay, so if you don't mind, do you want me to just pick one and dive in? Okay, so if I wanted to, I would start with number two quickly, just to get us warmed up, and then we'll go back and talk a little bit about sets. But imagine if we could hit number 2, number 3, and maybe even a little bit of number 4, and then we'll take a break. We're not going to make you sit for 12 sections of math. So let's start with rules of exponents. We have to know these rules well, right? We need to know these rules well. So let's write the rules down, and then we can play with them. So the first rule of exponents that everybody generally learns, and this is an X, not a multiplication, is that when two things are multiplying, their powers add. That is just crucial and important to remember. When two things are divided, their powers subtract. Also very important to know. When there's a negative exponent, you bring the value down to the denominator. Now remember, this is a review course, so we're not zooming in, we're just going over a few things. But if you wanted to dive into this topic for like a half hour, an hour, you can go back to our playlist. So that's where, this is a good course to watch, and then go take the CLEP next week kind of course. Okay, number 4, anything to the power 0 is 1. So, first rule, second rule, third rule, fourth rule, and it's not like you will always see them in this order in textbooks. They can vary, but the rule is what matters. Number 5, when we have something to a power with something outside the power, we multiply those things inside. We multiply the powers. That's what the rule says. And that rule actually would apply if I had this, then it will be this. Okay, so those are some crucial rules of exponents. But the rules of exponents actually have friends called the rules of radicals. And rules of radicals, there's even one that converts from a radical to a rational expression. So let's write that here. X to the m over n is the same thing as the nth root of x to the m. So that's the conversion from a rational exponent. It's an exponent, it's up there. It's rational because it's written in the form of a over b. So a over b, and then you can change it to a radical. So this is a radical. Now radicals have their own rules. Maybe after this segment, I'll give you the rules of radicals as well. But these are some key rules to remember. I want to see if I want to give us any more rules. Let's just use one of the rules in a bigger picture. So if I have x times y times z to the power m, this will become x to the m, y to the m, z to the m. That power will multiply each of the exponents. Now keep in mind, there's technically a 1 up there. We don't put that. We don't have time for that, right? But like, once you see a letter, we assume there's a 1 there. We know it's to the first power, so that's why it's 1 times m. If this was a, then it'll be x to the a. So if it was x to the a, y to the b, to the power m, then it'll be x to the am plus y to the bm. Okay, I better pause there. So those are the rules of exponents. I was just trying to use them in an example format there. But these rules will govern a lot of what we do today. I'm excited. I'm going to stop.